I was born just up the path in a railway carriage on the 14th of April 1934. Father was a fisherman, grandfather was a fisherman, his father was a fisherman. I was the fourth generation of our family to go fishing. I was 5 years old when the war started. Father worked for the telecommunications establishment, which was in Worth, and they did a lot of work on radar. It must have been about, I would think, 1944 when they sent him back to go fishing because food was getting short. Once he come back as a kid, I can remember going to sea with him quite often. I was always seasick, but once I started fishing full time, I completely lost that. When I was a kid, Father still worked single with the pots and probably only needed to work 60, 70. If you couldn't make a withy pot, you couldn't go fishing because you couldn't buy them. They didn't come off the shelf. You had to go and cut the withies in the winter and make them in the winter while the withies were green. And then you had your pots for the summer, and if a good gale of wind wrecked all the pots in the summer, you had nothing to fish with. I was into the so-so era. Previous to that, they'd used a lot of hemp. Everything was hauled by hand. When you worked the 18 pot, hauled them 3 times a day with 30 fathom of line on them, your hands were red raw. To counteract that, we had what we called nip rags. Bits of rag, bits of old sacking, anything just to take the wear off of your hands. Your arms used to get covered in, we used to call them water welts, and fish fingers, where you got a fish bone in your finger and it all went wrong. I fished for 52 years, 52 summers, and we fished in the summer and quarried in the winter. It was traditional. I was the only one that fished from Chapmans. I fished there more or less on my own. When I started, we had to carry everything up probably a quarter of a mile, I expect, where you couldn't get a vehicle. And in the spring we used to get a lot of crabs, and I've had 7 bags of crabs with £70 in a bag and a box of lobsters, so that's 8 trips up and down that quarter of a mile to get the stuff onto a van to get it away. If I go back to Father's time, they used to send lobsters to Southampton to go on the loiders. They had to carry it up, right up to Worth, which was well over a mile, put it in a taxi, send it to Corfe Station, put it on a train to Southampton. Sometimes they used to put it in the donkey and cart and take it. His mother used to take it to Swanage in the donkey and cart. What a carry on, eh?